Right, it is of course 10:32 on Naviture Station. Of course, it's a Saturday, and of course, each and every Saturday at around this time, we get on to that feature, which is simply called Broken Body Series. And on the line with me, I do have Dr. Buggett. Doctor, morning.
You sound very calm and collected today.
How do I?
Very smooth operator you are. Good morning. I'm well. How are you?
I'm great, dog. I can't complain.
Cool. Well, we're going to end this session on the gastrointestinal system. We've had tons and tons of sessions that I'm just amazed. People are so anatomically aware. In other words, they're aware of their bodies. And I think we ought to revisit this area. It's not an area that I'm particularly familiar with, but nonetheless, we've talked about the liver, we talked about the gut, we talked about the large and the small bowel, and we're going to end today by two small organs which are often forgotten and often overlooked organs that play crucial roles. And the two organs, even I left out, but a listener of ours reminded me that, Naka, you haven't talked about the pancreas and the spleen. So let's delve into their functions and potential roles and how to keep them happy, I guess. Do you know where the pancreas and the spleen are located, Adila?
No, dog. I just wanted to know what is pancreas in.
Indeed, yeah. Well,
I don't know what the other word that you said in this one. I wonder what they are.
So the pancreas is an organ that sits just to the left of the center of the middle of your tummy, and it's a multi-talented chef, if you like. It produces digestive chemicals which we call enzymes to break down food. It is critical for your body. And the key one that everybody remembers is a hormone like insulin. Insulin is the hormone or the chemical that regulates the sugar in your body. And then if you overuse that or you don't have any, you develop a condition called diabetes. So the pancreas, people remember it by that, but it actually has tons and tons of different enzymes that digest fat, that digest carbohydrates and starches, that digest protein. And if you don't have it, you can't actually survive because whatever you eat is not actually just comes out straight into your poo, which is one of the tests we're going to talk about in a minute. So what goes wrong? Clearly, things that can cause destruction of the pancreas, and the classic one is inflammation. Type 1 and type 2 diabetes and pancreatic cancer can also occur. So the symptoms of pancreatic disease, remember, it's sitting right in the middle of your tummy, is obviously abdominal pain. If you get tummy pain, if you get indigestion, if you notice changes in your appetite, you're getting weight loss, fatigue. With diabetes, you pee a lot, you're getting up at night, frequently emptying your bladder, you're drinking lots of water, you're very thirsty. These are red flags that something's going wrong with your pancreas. And inflammation of the pancreas, we will talk about it in a minute, is a lot of pain. It's very painful and often requires hospital admission. So clearly, in terms of prevention, we've talked about these for our master listeners out there, because we've got some real astute, I think they're actually bedbusters, to be honest. Maintain a healthy weight, choose balanced meals, limit those things we hate on this program, those sugary drinks, the Cokes and the Fantas and the Iron Brews and the Energies and the Red Bulls. All of them are rubbish, toxic, poison stuff. Exercise regularly, manage your stress. These things can actually help prevent pancreatic disease. Already asked a question, somebody's asked a question about supplements. We'll come to that in a minute. So the treatment clearly is, if you're diabetic, you may need insulin. If you don't have insulin at all, if you're overusing your pancreas and developing type 2 diabetes, you may need to cut your carbohydrates and take some pills, which physicians can give you. If you have inflammation, and the commonest cause of inflammation of the pancreas is alcohol. People who drink too much can cause inflammation of the pancreas. It can result in what's called a pancreatitis. Anything that ends in itis means inflammation, and that produces the same thing, poor digestion. So home clues, I guess, are monitoring your blood sugar, observing a change in your diet, and even the change when you flush your toilet pan. Is the color of your stool different, showing that you're not digesting well? So these are really important issues. I guess by your questions, Adela, you don't know anybody who's had pancreatic disease.
No, dog, I haven't. I don't know anyone.
It really is. It's almost a quiet condition, but it is actually more common than people realize. So that's really important. And the spleen is just to the left of the pancreas. It's sort of tucked away. It's almost the size of a fist, if you like. It's just, I guess, below your left, the last rib in your rib cage, just under there below or behind the stomach, and it's a I call it a vigilant night, if you like. It filters blood, it removes old red blood cells and harmful substances. It stores blood. It's important for clotting and things that can go wrong. It can become enlarged due to various conditions, particularly malaria, certain conditions where your body attacks itself, and blood disorders and cancer can occur. The symptoms, I guess you want to know are a feeling of fullness, because it's tucked just under your tummy. So you feel full, you get abdominal pain, you get tired, you easily bruise because you're not producing clotting factors. And again, prevention is focusing on healthy habits, balanced diet. You take vaccinations to reduce infection, like pneumonia vaccines, influenza vaccines coming up for winter, can actually prevent these infections from occurring. So that's really, really important in terms of those conditions there. I'm going to stop there. If you have any questions before I go on, we've started getting some questions.
Let's go to the questions. I want to know more.
You want to know? I'm so glad you want to know more. Okay. So that's a nice one, Zanile. Right. So the symptoms, somebody's asked you, but we've answered the question. What are the symptoms of your pancreas not working properly? So it's pain in the upper belly. It's pain that radiates into the back. It's tenderness when touching the belly. It's fever. It's inflammation of the pancreas causes a rapid pulse, upset stomach, vomiting. If you know you've done something wrong, like taking, too much alcohol the night before, and you get these symptoms, it may be for inflammation of the pancreas, and that can lead, if you're taking alcohol on a regular, long-term basis, can cause chronic pancreatitis, which causes severe damage to your pancreas. It's really much more common than people realize, because we've got some heavy bruises out there. Some of them are indeed our listeners. So that's really important. Somebody's asked you, is diabetes really a disease of the pancreas? Yes, indeed. Diabetes occurs when the glucose builds up in the blood because the pancreas is not producing that insulin we talked about, resulting in the fact that you've got high sugar in your body, but it can't get into your cells because the gate is locked, because insulin is the key that opens that gate. So that's really important. Somebody's asked you, Naka, how can I tell if my pancreas is inflamed? I'm now frightened. I've got all the symptoms you talked about, but is it the pancreas? Well, I know that a lot of people, when we talk on the radios, automatically they think they've got the condition. It's called the medical student syndrome. Do you know what that is?
No.
When we teach medical students about any condition, often they leave the classroom thinking, you know what, I've got this condition, whether it's schizophrenia, whether it's pancreatic cancer. You tick the box, and then you think, I've got this, I've got pain. Sometimes I get burping, sometimes my stomach isn't working well. Maybe I've got pancreatic cancer. So whoever's asked this question, maybe you don't, but the warning signs are, if you like, are the ones we've talked about. And if you want it diagnosed, go and see your doctor, and they'll do some blood tests to see if inflammation is in your blood, and if there are certain chemicals or enzymes you can measure in the blood, like amylase, which is an enzyme produced by the pancreas, and if it's not, if it's produced in high amounts, means the pancreas is on fire, releasing this chemical into the blood. You can do an ultrasound, whoever's asked this question, that can show inflammation of the pancreas, or you can do other more sophisticated imaging like CT scanning, etc., that can tell that's important. Somebody's asked here, how do you detox the pancreas? Detoxing, remember we talked about it last week, the detox master organ in your body is your liver, so keep your liver healthy, but keeping your pancreas clean naturally is, again, unfortunately, sadly and boringly, reducing sugar-rich food, drinking plenty of water, taking small, frequent meals, avoiding too much alcohol or no alcohol at all, taking low-fat diet, not too much fat in your diet because you're putting a strain on your pancreas, and lots of veggies, taking lentils, clear soups, lean meat. These are things that are really important. Somebody asked here about drinking water. Naka, you say drinking water helps everything. Will it help an inflamed pancreas? Well, proper hydration is important, but it can't actually get rid of the pancreatitis because you need to address the cause, whether it's alcohol or inflammation. So that's really important. Somebody's asked a very interesting question, Zandila. How do I tell if I have gallstones or an inflammation of the pancreas?
Are we back? Can you hear me?
We sure is, and we're running out of time, but we've got another 22, 23 coming in, 24 questions coming in. This is our banana freak, I'd say. He asked, Naka, bananas good for pancreatitis. I think bananas are good for everything. Actually, bananas are good to eat when you have pancreatitis, because ripe bananas are a good option because they're easy to digest. Are we still on, Zandile?
Yes, we're on.
Okay, all right. So a good amount of fiber in your banana reduce your risk of gallstones, and they can help acute inflammation of the pancreas. Somebody asked a really interesting question. I'm not sure I can answer it, but it says, what is the best position to sleep in if you have inflammation of the pancreas? Gosh. I guess leaning forward or curling into a small ball to relieve the pain, but lying flat on your back increases the pain before you get to hospital. So curl up if you like. A couple of questions about food out here. What meat can you eat if you have inflammation? I've been told I do have inflammation of the pancreas, and I must admit it was actually in the past due to excessive alcohol. I've stopped drinking, but I want to know if I can heal my pancreas. What has meat got to do with inflammation of the pancreas? Choose lean meat, whoever's asked this question. Cut the fat off the meat that you can see. Eat chicken and, if you like, pidi duck, if you like, and turkey, if you like, without the skin. Fish is also very good for you. Avoid too much red meat because it's really heavy on the digestive process. I know whoever's out there doesn't want to hear that, but that's really important. One more question here. What exercise is good for pancreatitis? I'm not sure, but I guess gentle stretching and twist can help relieve the pain of the pancreatitis, but get to see your doctor if you think that's important. Good question here. Can fasting reduce inflammation of the pancreas? Fasting helps almost everything. We talked about this last year. I mean, the scriptures of almost every religion, but it can help because it actually rests the pancreas. And when somebody comes with inflammation of the pancreas, we actually get them to fast, and we put up a drip. We put a tube into the gut to take all the liquid out, and we rest the pancreas. It's a classic way of treating it. Somebody's asked about here, Naka, you haven't talked about cancer. My grandmother died of pancreatic cancer, and it was very painful to watch. How do we prevent this? Yes, it is true. Cancer of the pancreas is one of the most fatal conditions. It's very painful. It's like somebody putting a knife into your abdomen. It's a gnawing pain. It's continuous, and you need to have lots and lots of painkillers. And even the cancer medicine doctors tell us that there's very little that can be done. So if you have a history of pancreatic cancer, go and ask your doctor for a screen. If you're having any of the symptoms we've talked about, go and see your doctor. We can diagnose it, pick it up early. Prevention is better than cure. If we pick it up, we can send you to a cancer doctor or a surgeon to take this pancreas out. That's about as much as I can tell you about cancer of the pancreas in a very short period of time. Zadil, I've got lots of questions coming about the spleen, and if we have some time, I'll talk about it. Somebody's asked you, can you survive without a spleen? Yes, you can. It's an important part of your immune system, but you can survive without it. This is because the liver takes over many of the functions of the spleen if we remove the spleen, particularly in cancer. One more question, because I know we're running out of time. What foods should you avoid with an enlarged spleen? Once again, refined starches, pastries, white breads, fried foods, sugary beverages, sodas. Believe it or not, all these things can actually put a tension on your spleen and your pancreas and your liver. So they really are toxic for the whole system. So that's it in a nutshell. There's lots more to talk about, but we've run out of time, and we're going to end the session on the GI system and move on to something completely different next week, which I'm going to leave as a surprise.
Right. Thank you so much, good doc. I guess we'll talk again next week. All right.